All right. So, am I loud enough? Yes. Like this? Yes, I can. In the back? Yes. Okay, good. I want to target this specific audience because I get a lot of questions by current data owners. And this is the question. Why don't you reuse our data yet? Who reuses data from the government today? You're the data science community. Why not? Why not? Well, the answers I give to the government, that's what my talk is about. And I hope by just telling you that maybe you can help me to actually start reusing data by giving me the right answers as well, or correcting me, or whatever. So first, obligatory, who am I? I'm a researcher at iMinds. iMinds is one of the best tech incubators of the world. We just got an award for that. And we do applied research, and I'm a researcher there, and I try to research linked open data. Okay, linked open data, semantic web stuff, that's something from the 90s, right? But what I'm specifically trying to fix is trying to get open data, or open data publishing, as cheap as possible. As cheap as possible, and as easy as possible also for reusers to start working with. So in short, I'm trying to maximize the reuse of certain data sets. That's my topic. That's my PhD topic. I also co-founded Open Knowledge Belgium, which is kind of like this group, only focused on open knowledge, everything that's concerning open knowledge. So open access, Creative Commons, Wikimedia, OpenStreetMap, stuff like that. They are part of our legal association. We have a conference coming up, 29th of February. Mark your schedules. It's going to be in Antwerp. It's going to be an awesome conference. Last year it was in Namur. There were some people I saw there, so yeah, come again. Yeah, from that perspective, I'm also doing a working group there, the Open Transport Working Group. But that's originally, it was IREL. So 5 years ago, I was still a student back then. I wrote a very simple application on which you could check the Belgian railway schedules, like I scraped it from their website, or well, scraping, I wouldn't even call it scraping. I just removed all the bad parts from the website of the SNCB, or the Belgian Railway Company, and I put it on a mobile screen. Well, apparently that's copyright infringement. I didn't know about that, but apparently it was, according to the SNCB. I'm still saying that isn't copyright infringement. I've heard someone else is going to speak about scraping and all the bad parts and all the good parts later this evening, so I'm going to leave that up to him, and I'm going to show it from the audience if he's wrong. But that's where I come from. So 5 years into the open data business. And business, well, I also started a company together with Thierry, who should have been here this evening. Maybe he's still coming, maybe he's stuck in traffic. But the company is Flat Turtle, and I mainly funded that for one reason. I wanted to prove that in open data there's actually economic value. Well, right now I'm a researcher, and so maybe I didn't become rich of it, but Flat Turtle is break even, so it's not that bad either. Good. So this is the problem I'm facing daily, or I'm trying to fix daily. Where can you get in what amount of time? That's a very difficult question if you want to fix it with data, because time distance is yeah, of course in kilometers it's quite easy, but in time, it's really difficult because people move at different speeds. They can use different modes. They might be interested in different things. For instance, you might be interested in water birds, and so on and so forth. So, how can we actually start publishing data in a way that we maximize the reuse of that kind of data, like the Belgian Railway Company? Well, of course, they could say we are going to create an API for everyone. Everyone can use our API. The problem is that we have a long tail of needs For instance, we have this on the previous slide. We have this multimodality. We have. Is there a question?
Could you press allow, please?
Thank you for that comment. Yes. So, multimodality, whether you're in a wheelchair or not, then all these different things. These are things that the Belgian railway company is not going to put in their APIs. So how can we then actually do it? Not by asking for an API, but for asking for open data. But I'm not here with all the answers. I also want you to think about this question. What do you need before you're going to start open data? Because we have this open data from the government and data.gov.be, who actually already visited that website. Yep. Yes, okay. Whoa, that's less than I expected, in fact. Because I would expect you to find it not as good as you would like to be it, but that you didn't visit it at all? Okay. But there's a new version coming soon, and that's the talk after this one, I think. I'm not sure. Then data.gov, but there's also the Flemish open data portal. There's the Walloon statistics. There you have a Brussels open data portal as well. Also for the city of Ghent, Antwerp, Kortrijk, Ostend, they all have open data portals on which they put data. But then I get a phone call. The reuse is not that many people are actually reusing our Excel files. Why don't people like to use Excel files? Why don't they start creating this economic value that the European Commission promises? Because they just recently, again, a new study by Capgemini. Is someone from Capgemini in the audience? Okay, no. Oh, wait, YouTube. No, well, it's a study. It's a study in which they say so much economic value in open data, and the Belgian market is that much. And then if I try to find, okay, how did they calculate the Belgian market for like a couple of billions of euros for open data? I don't get it. I don't get it where that number comes from. And I think they took something with Alexander de Croo's size of his feet times something else, because it must have been some science like that. Now, how do I answer this question to people who ring me up? Well, I say people like you, they have this. Costs and benefits. If the benefits are higher than the costs, they're going to do something. Right? Great. Someone who objects? Okay, good. So one thing is certainty that you won't get sued. I promise you don't want to get a letter in the mailbox unless you think that's a nice growth strategy, like, oh yay, I got sued and I'm going to put it all over the internet. But unless that, you want the absolute certainty that you won't get sued by reusing data. And that's hard on the web today. Because that's, by the way, an example of IREL, the IREL stations database. It's CC0. You can do whatever you want with it. So what's legally being able to do anything with it? Well, that's the open definition. We've put this online since 2004, opendefinition.org. And that's it's meant to ensure that if people say this is open data, that they actually mean the same thing. That it's open, that it means that anyone can freely access, use, modify, and share for any purpose. You're a software engineer, it's like GPL and BSD and public domain. Now the three licenses that we like and that we call free software, but also open data if it's a document instead of source code. Of course, for that we don't use software licenses like GPL and BSD, but it's the Creative Commons licenses, of course. I guess I don't have to tell you that, but this is a mind that is a bit simplified, but it's like the internet. That's the web, not the same thing. Okay. That's the web, and that's certainly data that you cannot reuse. That's like data from Facebook, that you're certain that all rights reserved. You cannot reuse this data. Then there's a lot of data that It's in the gray zone. Like the Belgian railway company, right? Is it not? Can I reuse it? It's uncertain, and I hope I will be able to explain this later when the other speaker is talking about scraping. But let's not get into it right now. But then there's a small dot of open data right now. That small dot is where there's a license under the document that says you can reuse this data. It says some rights reserved or not at all any rights reserved, public domain. That's only open data, and that's only a very few data. So the first thing I ask these data owners is license your data as open data, make it sure there's an open license to it. And the second thing is technical certainties. And that's where I fight a lot with people like you, because you don't agree with this. If I just recently there was again a tweet put out like, oh yeah, NMBS or SNCB or the Belgian railway company has to open up their data, and someone reacted, yes, I hope they have a good API for that then, that they open up an API to us. Just like my introduction, that's also why I gave my introduction. I don't want an API. I don't want an API. They're too restrictive, and they go down all the time. APIs are very expensive to keep online. It's like having a call center, like a very big call center, and putting one guy in the middle who receives all the questions. That's how I see an API. Because what are you going to do if you are the Belgian railway company? You set up one server who's going to do all the route planning for all the people in the world. That's just that one guy in a call center trying to answer all the questions. Not going to work. We need something more scalable, namely open data. And that's where I see this is the data science community, the triangle, and there you have API fanboys. Who's an API fanboy? I'm also an API fanboy. I mean, I like APIs, but not for open data. Who's an open data fanboy? Yes. We need open data to be published to the web. Now, the main question also is like, where do you want these data owners? If I'm in discussion with data reusers, where do you want them to put their money? If it's an API with limited functionalities, it's going to be very expensive for almost doing nothing. I would like to have a decent data model. I would like to have data published on the web high availably. I want to make sure that they don't have to pay $1 million in order to be able to answer questions for 1,000 users more. I want scalable systems, and that's where I want cost efficiency with these data owners, and I want them to put their money inside scalable systems. So like a summary of this little rant on APIs and data publishing, this summarizes it nicely. So on the one hand, you have data dumps, which allow anyone to just copy the data on their own machine and do whatever with it. The problem is that clients or data reusers need to do a lot in order to reuse data, and on the other hand, you have things like, and Hans is going to like that now that he enters, Sparkle endpoints or SQL endpoints or things that just try to answer any question. The one guy in the middle of the call center. That's what you have. Now, I'm going to just milder my words a bit, because I'm not against these services, of course, but I'm against them in an open setting. I am for open data, for open systems, for open things. I want data publishing. For closed things, for closed environments, for services, and so on, I want, of course, data services. And that's exactly, this is just a shameless plug of my own work. This is exactly what I'm trying to do with linked connections. This is the topic of my PhD, and I hope to defend somewhere end of next year. Linked connections is a framework which just publishes transport data in pages. So So you have like a lot of small data dumps which are published. And you can do route planning on that from the client side. So it's a data reuser that exactly that can program, my user is in a wheelchair, I need 15 minutes to transfer from this platform to another platform, and so on. You can try it out at linkedconnections.org. It works a bit slower than the website of the NMBS, but it's way high available. It's way more high available. It will keep being online because this runs on it runs on very cheap hardware, but it doesn't cause any load because every call that just comes on there, I can almost cache it. So it's a much cheaper to actually do it that way than to answer all the questions, to be the one guy in the middle of the call center. And a third thing that I say is just doing a time check. I still have a lot of time. Well, the last thing that I tell the people is business models. We need business models that work. And just one idea for a business model that I have is, well, we have a lot of these API fanboys who want to use an API to get some integration with something. For instance, in a CRM system, they want to quickly interact with some other data. Well, they need services. They won't invest in getting all this data, integrating it, and so on. But maybe there's a link there. And I also hope that Toon van Acht would have been here. Toon, no, not yet in the audience. Sorry? Yeah. Well, but Toon is actually one of the first ones who actually does this business model, at least in Belgium. He uses the data from the how do you call it? Le Moniteur Belge? Staatsblad. Yeah. He uses that data, which is in the gray zone, but it should be in the white zone. It should maybe soon. Maybe we hear it in the next presentation. I don't know. But yeah, he actually offers a data service on top of open data, and that's something I like. I think more people should start doing that. And of course, yeah, must add to this, there's a long tail, so try to do something yourself as well. So this is how my world then looks like. A lot of people publish data on the open web. You cannot ask money for that. That means that it should also be very cheap to publish data to the web. And that's why I think that open data publishing methods should be very, very cheap. Then you have people who build business models on a closed customer base. They only have like a couple of hundred clients who they provide a closed API with an API key and so on. That's not the open web. That's a closed environment. There they have a nice business model. They can charge people, and these people, they have just a scalable business model. I mean scalable. Hopefully they have a scalable business model on top for their end users. And this last one I used to have, because I already presented this earlier, but I used to have app users there and their app developers. But I don't believe that anymore. Who here has a business model built on top of apps that actually pays his rent? No one? Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Yeah. There are only a few people that actually just by building an app, they actually get something out of that. And I'm sure that just by reusing a couple of data sets, you will not get the billions of euros the European Commission is promising. But, of course, there, for the scalable business models, well, you already have all the companies. And thanks to open data, thanks to these new data services, they will be able to make their business model stronger and will be able to enrich their current business model. And that's what I believe in. Indirectly, open data will indeed generate economic value. Will you be able to calculate it or measure it? I doubt it. It will be just like measuring social media or something. You cannot measure that. So we need open data sets that are easy to use and are as reliable as a local DB. That's what I ask to data owners. And what I ask to you guys is to find business models that work. And tell me about it, because I would love to start, or I would love to become rich by doing open data stuff. Good, and then a question to the audience. There were a few hands that said like, yeah, I already reused open data. Who was that? Can I see the hands again? Okay. Okay. What data set did you reuse?
Companies.
The KBO. Yeah. Okay. Tell us. It's bits.do/ Please tell us. We need a list of these people that we can actually tell to the government. Look, we do have open data reuse in Belgium. Hans, what data did you already reuse from Belgium?
Well, we just started from Belgium. We probably use it in the US. This is my top point. In the US, it's so more easy than in Belgium.
Yeah.
We had to go to the US to find data, and in 1 month we got access to 26 research institutes data.
Yeah, but you're not answering my question. What data sets from Belgium are you?
But it's only the open data you told from Van Acht which we use at this point.
Okay. Is there someone who is not using the KBO for now? No? Okay, that's good. Okay. If you're going to do anything with open data, the KBO, de Kruispuntbank Carrefour de Données d'Entreprise. Dus Kruispuntbank Sorry?
National bank data?
Yeah. No, national. Yeah.
So we're using
It's
as well
yeah.
national bank data.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. So please open that Google Drive document. Just add your company to it if you're doing anything. Not only companies, we are also already happy with initiatives. So if you do something non-profit or if you do something as a hobby project, please also put it in there. Then we can do something. I think right now there are like 20 initiatives in there, which I still find way too few to actually give us the promise of open data. 2 more things. There's the Open Belgium conference. It's going to be legendary. So you should all come the 29th of February 2016 to Antwerp, where we will organize 1 day of open knowledge, or the state of play of open data and open knowledge in general, because it's broader than open data. It's also open access. It's also Creative Commons. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about, discuss. There are going to be keynotes, there are going to be breakout sessions. It should be also very interesting to you guys. And I'm trying to find a business model with IRL. For when my PhD is finished, I want to find something that works. So if you have ideas on that, if you would like to work on point 3 with me, let me know. And something for your fridge. We want a world where knowledge creates power for the many, not the few. Thank you very much.
So we have time for 2 questions. So what would you like to ask Pieter?
How many services are they all running right now?
4.
How many users?
It has about 300,000 requests a day, and for our data dumps, of course, we don't know how many people reuse that because they download it and do stuff offline with it, but I suspect a lot because, for instance, Bing Maps is using it. Yeah.
Question 1C, what's the cost of that per month or per year to operate those services?
We are very lucky to have the people of Skyscrapers. Yeah, Skyscrapers. They are a company from Antwerp. They actually do it all for free for us. So they are sponsoring us because we are so cool, and they're just giving it to us. The costs on the invoice says something like €300 each 3 months. So it's yeah. So €100 per month. Yeah.
You were asking the audience about what data sets they were using. Are you seeing some data sets that are being vastly underused and that you feel that they should be reused, or that you would like to be reused more today available?
The Belgian Railway Company data. No, that's obviously I'm going to say that one because that's one I also try to advocate, like, yeah, reuse that data set. Other data sets that should be reused. I think, for instance, about the address database. Like right now, there's a lot of there starts to be open data about addresses in the world, all across the world. I think that right now is something where the next, or if there's a company that should make money out of that, it will work globally, because right now there are a lot of countries that actually start opening their address database. In Flanders, it's already open data. Brussels is following. Wallonia, I have no clue, but it's an interesting thing to actually deliver a service upon.
Good. Well, thank you very much, Pieter.
Hey, I hope you liked this presentation. This presentation was held in the Brussels Data Science Community Meetup. If you want to know more of when these meetups are taking place, just check the link below. Bye-bye.